I think I had mentioned in a previous video about how um, poor inner city neighborhoods were created by redlining. So, in the, I believe, 1930s, 1940s, there was an effort to get more so for people returning from World War II, to help people get, and also in response to the Great Depression, to help people get low interest loans backed by the federal government. So they didn't want, supposedly, uh, like, to make loans that seem like that the people will default. So they created these maps, making certain areas safe for investment, for loans, for mortgages, and others less so, and then others they say were hazardous, so not eligible for loans, or if they did, then had those loans were given with very high interest, so that because they're afraid that those people will be defaulting on their loans, and those the hazardous areas were the red line, and the primary reason for areas to be redlined is if it was mostly black or immigrant. And so today, later redlining became illegal, but today a lot of the spots that have been redlined are still today mostly people of color and are poor. And the reason being, so my understanding of redlining is that is direct connection to racial segregation, and people not being able to own their homes and therefore not having generational wealth, and also the lack of tax base meant lower quality schools that have very little funding. But there's also, in discussions, they talk about a lack of investment in these areas. So I used to be confused about what they meant by that. Are they talking about lack of investment from the government, or who are these would-be investors? So I guess I could never really make that connection. But yeah, but in addition to people not being able to get home mortgages, it also was not possible to get, either it was not possible to get business loans to open or develop a business in these areas, or the interests were really high, and there were a lot of these hoops you had to go through to be able to get a loan to open a business in redlined areas. So of course, without that type of investment in creating new businesses meant there were a lack of jobs in those areas, and so it made like poor areas even poorer that way. And then at the same time this was happening, again, this was towards the end of World War II and after the Great Depression. So the purpose of these loans is so that people can afford low interest mortgages and be able to be homeowners. So for the most part, the majority of the people who can get these mortgages were white people. So this created suburbanization. It created the people, white people leaving the cities to go to the suburbs for these new homes that only they were able to get loans for. And that was intentional because since it was World War II, there was a movement toward less population densities in cities. So if people were living out more spread out, like in suburbs as opposed to in a central densely populated area, then like if the U.S. were ever attacked, meaning this is after World War II, that there would be less casualties or less infrastructure damaged if the population were more spread out. And of course the intention was so that people could create wealth by being homeowners, but only mostly white people were able to benefit from that. At the same time, in order to match with the suburban home ownership, This was also the time of the growth of automobile ownership, and this this created the start of the interstate system. Um, Also to help with like mobilization if there were ever like a military action where the U.S. were ever attacked. It allows for military vehicles easy access through the interstate system, and also it allows for the development of suburbs so that people have access to jobs in the cities, but they can easily get to and from the suburbs to the city using the interstate. But when they built the interstate system, they built a lot of these highways through oftentimes uh, self-sufficient black communities with businesses and a lot of homes that were owned, even if they were lower income. A lot of these places were stable neighborhoods with the high home ownership and many black-owned businesses, and they targeted these areas to build the highways through, and they demolished the homes and the businesses where they were going to build the homes through. And part of the reason they did this is to use that infrastructure to segregate white communities from black communities, and also to separate black communities from the central business districts. Um, and This is kind of in response to the start of the civil rights movement. So a little gain, and then they wanted to like put physical barriers to effectively separate black people from white people and from businesses. So the building of these highways, it had people lose their jobs and their businesses, and oftentimes they didn't get proper remuneration. They didn't get they were often paid, but not like what they were worth. So they lost their businesses, their homes, and then once the highways were built, the black communities had less access because the highways blocked their neighborhood from jobs in the downtown or business districts, and also like the way that the streets were designed, the one-way patterns, cul-de-sacs, it just made it a lot more of a hassle to get to a job from the inner city, and then you just didn't have the business investment, so you didn't have the jobs where you live, so you have to go elsewhere. But these highways made it difficult for you to get there, and so I guess I think I kind of finally connected the dots about how these policies affected investment, and therefore created the wealth disparity in America today.